Hello, everybody, and welcome to History Bite number 66, dated October 5th, 2020. I'm Walter, your mobile historian and blue-collar scholar. This History Bite is entitled Jury Nullification. Jury nullification is a legal concept whereby a criminal jury, in spite of virtually all evidence proving the guilt of a defendant, refuses to convict that defendant and instead acquits them. All right. And this usually happens for one of two reasons. Reason A is likely because the jury feels that the law in question that the defendant is being prosecuted under is simply unjust, and no one should be imprisoned under this unjust law. Or reason B, that the person being prosecuted is being unfairly targeted and thus should not suffer the pains of imprisonment under the law, regardless of the law's severity. The law could be perfectly just, okay? Reason B indicates the likelihood of the person being prosecuted simply being unfairly targeted, all right? So, jury nullification thus places the power of life and liberty in the hands of the people. It is an essential check on the power of the state or the federal government to deprive a person of life or liberty. It is the power of the people to ensure that the laws in which fellow citizens are prosecuted under are fair and just. Jury nullification has a very long history in the English common law, and it was, of course, transplanted to the American colonies and continued in the new United States. Some great periods in American history when it was used are as follows. With the passage of the Fugitive Slave Act in 1850, many northern juries refused to convict their fellow citizens, who were being prosecuted under that act for aiding and abetting fugitive slaves. Also, during the Prohibition era, many juries throughout the United States refused to convict their fellow citizens for illegally engaging in the sale and distribution of alcohol. All right. So jury nullification has been used a great deal in American history by the people to protect their fellow citizens from being unjustly prosecuted under draconian, very barbaric laws. The best part about jury nullification is the fact that it is perfectly legal and there is absolutely nothing that can be done about it. A jury's decision to acquit a defendant is essentially final, and a defendant cannot be retried simply because they were found not guilty and all the evidence was suggesting that they were. To be able to retry them for such meager instances would essentially destroy the right of trial by jury. And so therefore, jury nullification is a very important concept in the American legal system. It is, like I said, an inherent ability of the people to check the power of the state and of the federal government to deprive their fellow citizens of life and liberty. Okay? It vests in the people the power to ensure that the laws that govern us are just. And when those laws are not just, we the people have the right to refuse to convict those individuals being prosecuted for violating them. Okay? Jury nullification is, in my humble opinion, one of the best and most protected safeguards against unjust prosecutions. And sadly, like I said, it is a power that most jurors don't even realize that they have. In most states, it is illegal for attorneys judges and other court personnel to inform jurors, even prospective ones, of this ability, logically. But it is not illegal for me to say it. And so thus I spread the word to you that you, ladies and gentlemen, as prospective jurors, have this right, if you are selected as a criminal juror, to acquit someone who is being prosecuted under a simply unjust law, or someone who's being prosecuted simply because they are who they are and are being unfairly targeted. You, as a citizen, always have the power to check the authority of the government. Never forget that. You decide whether or not your fellow citizens shall be subject to flagrant violations of the principles of justice. Thank you so much for listening to this History Bite, and I'll talk to you at the next one. Take care.